Hey, what's up guys, I'm Torn and welcome back to Victoria 3 as we are playing as the United States. So in last episode we won the Mexican-American War and wasn't as costly either in lives or in actual financial costs as I was anticipating, and that was largely because the Mexicans' European allies did not really help them out that much. They didn't really get much involved, and that's something that I really like about Victoria 3 is that not every war has to be a total war for the AI. They didn't have, considerable interest here in Mexico, and they had their own issues. Both Russia and France had been involved in other conflicts. I'm sure those conflicts were costly, and we've seen that France has been spending vast sums of money in their wars lately. So I'm sure that they're having financial issues. Obviously, they're losing troops in all those conflicts as well. And so a war in Mexico is really not their major concern. They got other issues. I mean, it's more of a concern for Russia than France, since Mexico's in there, actually in their market. And so you saw the Russians did participate more. And we've seen that before, with Austria in that previous conflict. In that war for Cuba, Austria mobilized a low number of troops and didn't help in the actual conflict at all. So that's something you see in this game that you don't really see in other Paradox games, like more limited conflicts and the AI assessing how many troops they should actually mobilize, how much they should spend, how much they should invest into this conflict based on their own interest. Are they going to be annexed from this war? Are they going to lose a really important territory? Or is the war actually over like a little tiny border province that's unimportant, or really it's just an ally that they don't really care about that much and they're only helping out of obligation? The AI does seem to kind of consider that, and we have the more limited conflicts that you see in real life, like actual colonial conflicts. And this is something you didn't see in other Paradox games, which is why it's so notable. In EU4, there'd be like a colonial conflict. The British will be over here colonizing the 13 colonies area, and they'll be fighting a rebellion against some Native Americans, and they'll raise up their entire army. That you have to kind of mobilize in a sense. You got to pay for your entire military. Everybody's got standing armies in that game, so even though it's not exactly accurate for the time period, and so they'll be paying for all their troops because they have no other choice, but then they'll actually send the troops over here. So they'll send like 20 regiments over here to take out maybe 3 rebellious units or whatever. You see that across Paradox's games, including in Victoria 2. It just didn't have the more limited conflicts as far as like how many troops are actually involved. Now with like a game like Hearts of Iron 4, which is meant to simulate the World War II period, that makes sense that everybody's doing the total wars. But for this period, in the 1800s or EU4's period, particularly the early modern age, it does not make sense that every single war becomes like a total conflict on the level of the 20th century wars that we saw in Europe. And it just doesn't make any sense, and yet that's the way the AI always acts, but you don't see that in this game. And this is one of my favorite aspects of Victoria 3, that it does have the more limited conflicts, where the AI is not constantly fighting as if their very existence matters for every single war. So yeah, it's a nice element, and we saw how it can be advantageous for us because their allies just didn't support them much. So the next war is going to be over Canada, of course. It makes most sense. We got this little ugly map situation here, and also there's a lot of turmoil here as well. I think expanding here, although it looks like we might have gotten rid of the turmoil. Okay, so the people are finally happy here for the most part. So we do want to expand it here just because it looks bad, and that's the natural route of expansion for us. But it's probably going to be a while before we do so. First of all, we need to burn off all this infamy that we have here. If we just take a look at the diplomacy map, you'll see that most of the world hates us. Nobody really likes us. Spain kind of does. The British feel kind of neutral about us and cautious. But that's about it. I guess South America is also kind of cautious, some of them anyways. But for the most part, the entire world really hates us. So we need to burn off that infamy before we do anything else. Also, we got to integrate this new territory as well. So that war is going to be a while against Lower Canada instead of just Canada. I'm not entirely sure why their entire name didn't change here. But yeah, let's go and take a look at the new territories we just got. So we got California. So this has 312,000 population right now. There are more discoverable resources here. We've already looked at all the state traits. But to see the buildings, they got sulfur mines, one logging camp, they got those gold fields, and the capacity to build a bit more. Nothing really special here that we didn't already have access to elsewhere, though. But the gold is going to be helpful. We got Nevada, more gold, lots of gold here in Nevada. Again, nothing really unique here. The population is quite a bit smaller than in California at 65,000. Here in Arizona, 123,000 population. Bit of devastation from that conflict. Also, we're noticing some infrastructure issues in some of these states due to those gold fields. And also, you're going to get some reduction from any devastation. There's not a ton of it, though. Yeah, we do need to build the rails out here, and we actually have a journal entry for that, too, so we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But yeah, larger population in Arizona than Nevada. Utah has the smallest population of all the states we gained, with just that 47,000. And New Mexico has 279,000, so almost as much as California here. Standard of living is incredibly low here in New Mexico. A little bit higher in Utah, but also quite low. So you can see that, you know, they're probably some of the worst states that we have right now as far as standard of living goes, so we're going to want to improve that. And it's not from the infrastructure. No, it's not from the infrastructure. They don't really have any buildings, that's what it is. So yeah, they don't have any buildings here despite their high population. So that's the real issue. Everybody is essentially peasants, or people that are benefiting from peasants. So to look at the population, so this is in New Mexico. They also have a high South German population. Seems that the majority are South German, so a lot of migration here to New Mexico. Arizona, it looks like Mexicans are about a third of the population. The rest seems to be Native Americans. A lot of natives in Utah and Nevada, and California is mostly Mexican. Of course, we don't discriminate against anybody, so it doesn't really matter who the population is here. Yeah, you can see California's 53% peasant, 81% peasant over here in New Mexico. So again, that's their main issue. They're all peasants, so can't make any money. You just compare that to, like, I don't know, New York here. Peasants are less than 30% of the population. Pennsylvania, they're around the same. So it seems like in our more industrial states, it's about a third of the population, slightly under a third of the population that is currently peasants. So the last thing to do here is take a look at that journal entry, the first Trans-Continental Railway. So we've already built one in Nebraska, but in order to complete this, we need to get railways built in Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, and California. So we're going to want to start working on that. And also, I noticed that there were, oops, I'm trying to click on the overview here. There were a couple states that are lacking infrastructure, so Nevada already needs a railway. So want to get that there, and also Arizona. So want to build railways all throughout this territory here, so we can complete that journal entry, and also to get the market back up to 100%. So where's Cuba at on market? Let me just make sure they're fully capable of accessing the market. They are. They actually have quite a bit of infrastructure now. Okay, so we're good to go there. So no problems in Cuba. Did want to take a look at that because we are getting so many important resources from over there. So let's go and start with gold mines, since those will help pay, if there are even any gold mines. Looks like there's one available here in Colorado. Now we've gotten control of a little bit more of the state there. I mean, we got control of the full state, but there's that little part that we weren't, and therefore we weren't able to build the gold mines fully out. So yeah, we'll get the gold mines first, because that'll help pay for the other things that we're about to build here. Do we still need to get everything that we're currently constructing? Yeah, sulfur and groceries are still expensive. We're going to take the gold mines up to the top here. And then we're also going to build a new construction sector in California, because we're going to be expanding California out. You know, I talked about some of my favorite states to live, and I lived in California for many years, and I absolutely loved it. California's not perfect, of course. You know, today, I visited, and it's kind of a mess. You know, we went to the beach a couple years ago, and it's definitely quite different from what I remember when I used to live there, but that was over 20 years ago, guys. It's been a while. Yeah, I think I was 15 the last time I lived in California. That's when I left, and I haven't lived there since. I've visited many times, but yeah, it's been a long time since I lived there. And it has changed quite a bit, but it still has the beautiful beach. It still has that absolutely perfect weather. The weather's just fantastic there. My wife, when last time I went there, she said it's like you have air conditioning outside, because that's what it feels like. It's just such a beautiful weather. And so yeah, it's still a much loved state because, again, it's a beautiful state, but, they've got a lot of issues there, particularly in the urban areas right now where I wouldn't want to live there. I still have a great love for the state overall. I'll take this up to the top here, guys. I had great memories there. And while I wouldn't want to live there right now, I enjoy visiting if you go to the right places. If you don't, obviously it's the traffic's a mess. Good God, that's everywhere. So what do we else we need here? We got the construction sector, we got the gold mines, and we need to get the railroads now. So let's go work on that. So we're gonna want to get them in these two states first, obviously, but infrastructure is going to be a problem everywhere. So let's go ahead and get probably just going across here. And if we haven't built in these areas, like Wyoming, we know needs one in order to complete that objective. Yeah, basically you need infrastructure across most of these areas. Oklahoma's doing okay for now. Yeah, we haven't got them, the rails going all the way across just yet. So what we're going to want to do, I think we'll let them finish the stuff we're already working on, and then we'll do the railways. I think that's the best way to do it. I almost want to get another construction sector, actually. We'll see how much this ticks it up. Let me see. We don't have anything to change here yet. Yeah, we don't have that tech yet. Take the last one there. Yeah, we'll just build the one. We'll see how we're doing financially with what we're currently constructing after we get that built. And that's also going to increase the price of goods, so it's going to have additional effects. And then I suppose we'll let all that stuff get built before we work on anything else. What we can do is start trading for dyes. Let's let this play to see if prices have adjust at all. Particularly because we were actually cut off from a lot of our trade, particularly here in Liberia. Somebody had asked me why we don't just free them, get them out of our market, not protect them anymore. Currently they're a protectorate, so we're not really getting much from them as far as financial benefits. They don't give us any percentage of their income or anything like that. So somebody asked why we don't just completely abandon them. Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, Liberia will be invaded and conquered if we do that. So it's not about liberty. Let's grant these people liberty, because they won't have liberty. They'll get conquered by the British, the French, maybe the Dutch. They will not remain free if they're not a protectorate. That's just part of the reality here in Africa right now with the colonization efforts of the Europeans. So can't really free them for that reason. You're just giving them up to somebody else. And then most importantly, well, we have good relations, and they have a good loyal attitude towards us. So everything's good on that front. But most importantly, they're part of our market, guys. And so therefore, they're providing us with some nice benefits. First of all, they buy all of our stuff. So their pops here, their 978,000 pops are accessing our goods. Also, that's going to really hurt the people here if they were to be forced out of our market. We're going to hurt them more than help them because they won't have access to all those goods that they get in our market. But it's also going to hurt our market. Now, you'll notice everybody's doing really bad here. That's because of the low market access, which is due to the fact that our convoys have been sunk, so there's not really any connection here. So they're already not attached to our market at this moment due to those problems with the convoys. But this will get better once they get access to the market again. I just want to show you what all we're getting here. Now, some of this stuff is stuff we have access to: iron, wood, fishing, all that kind of good stuff. They do also provide quite a bit of grain. But yeah, they're providing a lot of fruit here. And imagine once you have full employment, that's going to be even higher. Just keep that in mind, as they don't have full employment here. We're also getting quite a bit of fabric from them. Dyes is the most important here. This is the only place in our market that's producing dye. And this isn't even a full amount. So we're getting a lot of dye from them, guys. And this is the only place we can get dye from outside of trade. So that's another good reason to keep them. You got coffee here. You got more fabric. So a lot of fabric coming from them. A little bit of sugar, not much. And also a little bit of tobacco here. So we're getting access to all those goods. And so I don't think it's in anybody's best interest, ours or theirs, to free them. Again, they're a protectorate, which is one of the more open of the different types of subjects. I need to zoom out a little bit here. So if we looked at the protectorate status, so a protectorate is an autonomous subject able to start their own diplomatic plays. So as far as diplomacy goes, they can do their own thing basically. A country may ask or be asked to become a protectorate under an overlord without risk of war if the offer is declined. Basically, you're not really getting much benefit from them. You're just protecting them, and they're in your market. So that's really we got this tech here. This is the one that we started researching for the war. Obviously, we didn't get it in time, just short of the conflict ending. So I don't think we need to get another military tech, because again, we're going to stay out of war for a little while. Now, some of these can help even if you're not in war, though I don't think any of those are currently available to us. I guess if you wanted to build up the fleets more, but we don't really have the problem of hitting the caps for the ports right now. So let's go and get some other stuff. And looking at the society tech reminded me that we need to start working on a new law. So there would be some really nice passive bonuses for us to get in here. Multilateral alliances. That's really nice because not only can you now have more than one alliance, but it gives you more maneuvers in the diplomatic play. That was an issue we ran into when we were attacking Mexico. We ran out of maneuvers. We could have took more from them or made more demands, but we didn't have any more maneuvers. So that's nice. The international exchange standards is probably better since that'll help us out now. The 10% minting would be really helpful. So I can see going for one of those. However, we already know that there's something really badly need, or a couple things we really badly need here in production. Mostly being able to get ourselves buildings that'll get us access to resources that we just don't have. So dye is one of those. And this is a level 3 tech, so it makes the most sense to go after that. I think we talked about that already, that this should be the next tech we get. 19 months here to get that researched. So that's what we're gonna work on, guys. And I believe we're using it all. We should be using it all. Yeah, it's just not. It's just one because we're still building out that one. That one construction sector that we just got in California. And the reason why I put that in California is because remember it does have some local bonuses. Helps you build quicker. And we'll probably be building out California a lot. I think it makes sense to build out California a lot. It's kind of going to be our key state on the Pacific coast. The socialism tech is spreading to us. That's in society. And so that'll be the next one that we get from our natural spread. We got a ton of money, guys, doing absolutely fantastic there. Investment pool is very high as well. So yeah, we're doing very good. Oh yes, I forgot again. I keep on forgetting. These ladies here are looking for some rights, and I'm over here just forgetting every time. They want the right to own property, to work, and to vote, and that's what we're going to grant them next. Now this is going to really piss off the Southern planters. It's going to radicalize them. It's a -20 because that's how much they oppose this, which makes sense with their more conservative traditional ideology. But as you can see here, they're kind of irrelevant. We have reduced their clout so much, 5.5%. They're really not going to be able to impact this much. In fact, they're to the point where they're almost not even a factor anymore. I think it's once they drop below 5%, as I think when you won't even see them in the screen anymore. I believe that's where it's at. But you can see we got pretty good support here to start. So it's going to be 24%, so not the worst percentage in the beginning. But yeah, we're going all the way through this. That's why I waited. We could have done the property women a long time ago, but I prefer to just, I know there's people waiting for rights here, but yeah, I prefer to just go all the way and get the furthest level we want to get. So raising concerns, we've seen this event. So, I mean, we could appease the Southern planters a little bit, but it's really going to have no impact with how pissed off they're going to get. Now, given the industrialists are quite loyal, though, I suppose you could do it, as it's not actually reducing their strength at all. Let's throw them a bone. Why not? The industrialists like us so much. We can eat that. Again, they're still going to be pissed at us, but it'll make it a little bit easier to get them happy again after this law. So yeah, we'll go in and give them something. We never help them. We never do anything to improve relations with them. And even if we disagree with them, you know, they still are Americans, and we don't have to be so hostile and aggressive towards them. We've gotten some of those important policies passed through. Obviously, slavery's banned, and no civil war from that due to things not being balanced properly. But yeah, so we're going to be focusing on the economy, guys. Obviously, we're also passing a law here as well, but yeah, the focus here is going to be the economy, particularly in integrating these new states here, which once we get these done, which I wanted to get the rails first, we're going to want to, and we can go and add that into our production list, I suppose, but we got to get this bureaucracy issue solved. It's pretty bad. We're going to have to build a ton of stuff, actually. Now, I did want to start looking to see if taxation capacity is really bad anywhere. It's not going to be anywhere in these areas because they don't really have high population, but like over here, I've just been building based on the peasant population, but you can see that that's not always efficient because we got 10 of the government administration buildings here, and it's not enough. So we're already losing taxes there in New York because population is so high at 3.39 million, and it's going up. So you do want to take a look at this. Now, given once it gets really bad, you'll get the alert for it, but it's kind of best to handle that before it gets really bad. So that's why you want to kind of dip through here. Now, you notice nobody's really all that bad but New York. Pennsylvania's getting close, but it's not that bad either. So yeah, we'll go ahead and build 2 here. Get that started. In fact, we'll go ahead and do 2 in New York and then 1 in Pennsylvania because we're going to need a lot of these to get where we want to be at here. But what we need to do is not just work on government administration for a long time, you know, because we're going to build a bunch of these. Because what ends up happening there is then you're not using all that investment pool we have. Now, given it's going to stay stacked up, but it makes sense to use some of that. So Colorado can use one. Just by building 1 across here, we ensure that most states aren't going to have any issues for a long time. So yeah, we need to build a lot. We'll just work on that for now. Remember, we'll be able to get them all done because we're going to slowly be working in other things that don't only cost government money. We're also going to get some universities thrown in here. Maybe 3. And then let's take a look at the economic situation. It's been a long time here, so hopefully some of this has been improved, if not fully improved. And we can see that glass is expensive, steel is expensive, clothes aren't that bad. Yeah, we're doing all right here, guys. Dyes are actually improved, but I think that's just temporary because of the fact that the textile market's probably decreased there. You know, the amount of workers they had, simply because dyes were so expensive. So that might actually go up some as they bring more workers in. So we need glass and steel. So that's what we're going to work into, all this government building. So we'll do like 2 for the glass and probably 2 for the steel as well. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. All right, so let's go into our industry. As far as where we're going to build this, so we can look here and see what's going to be the most profitable. Looks like Rhode Island and Florida. Yeah, we'll do Rhode Island and Florida here. And then the other thing we need was steel, which we could start building other locations. You see that there's not actually a good amount of revenue here. We're up to level 10, so it probably makes sense to go ahead and open up a new location to build in. Just kind of base this. I mean, it looks like it's going to be the same everywhere. So you could really build this anywhere. Guess we do in Ohio. They have a high population. New York their population's getting very high because of all that migration that they're currently getting. So yeah, we'll build it up in Ohio. So now what we need to do is kind of work these in. And where are those? I can't even see them. Does this only go so far down? Okay, it looks like it only goes so far down. I don't think I've ever experienced that before. Or ever noticed that, I should say. But we got the glass work, so we can go and start working those in. So again, what we're going to want to do is probably do somewhere around here. We do need to work on a lot of government administration buildings. And then probably put this, I don't know, right there. Yeah, we do need to work on the government administration buildings, because obviously our bureaucracy is affecting our income. Not that we don't have a ton of money. We'll probably want to eventually go ahead and pass that down to our pops, because of how well we're doing at this moment. Yeah, we'll probably want to like cut taxes. But let's first get a nice cushion of gold reserves before we do that. We'll let it build up a little bit. And then, yeah, I think we're going to pass that over to our pops. Proposal for the trade agreement with France again. We're going to accept that. They're still going to be a key partner. We have all those trade routes. We never shut those down. And so, yeah, we'll hopefully get all these issues resolved. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Turmoil in the territories we conquered. They're quite unhappy due to that recent conquest. So it looks like we're working on the rails now, so that'll improve those issues in those states, but not being fully connected. The law advanced. All right, excellent. So now we're at 34.8% chance of enacting that. All right, so yeah, getting those rails, then we're gonna start working on the government administration buildings, including the one in New York where we need it the most. So again, lots of migration coming here. Because of those new territories we took over, our standard of living has decreased dramatically because it is an average of all your territories. So our total standard of living is much lower now, guys, unfortunately. So we really got to get that stepped up. So because we built those rails, we now have completed the first Trans-Continental Railway, even though it doesn't actually go all the way across our country. So with the route between the Atlantic and Pacific complete, the door is open for greater settlement of the American West. So we can say we will settle the Great Plains, or the West Coast shall be just as prosperous as the East. And so basically this is going to give you a railway building throughput bonus, and this is an important one, a migration attraction bonus of 200%. So very significant. This means that people are going to flock to those locations. Now with this one, you're going to get it in more states. Well, in this one, you're going to get it in less states, but you're going to get it in California, where I think we really would like to get a higher population. This is all in our new territory. That's why I kind of feel like it makes most sense doing it this way, because those are the territories that have a lot of turmoil, a lot of unhappy people. So I think it makes sense to do it, to do this option, even though these are obviously loyal states that we've had much longer. Yeah, I think we're gonna do this one, guys. Makes sense. I want a lot of people to move to California here, get the population up there. We've got another dual event. All right, well, with him, I don't think it really matters that much to us. He's a moderate. I don't really care about this particular interest group. They haven't really been, I mean, they're in the Democrats, so you probably don't want them to have more supports, but you just don't know what you're going to get if he ends up dying. And we don't want Schubert to die, so I think we're just going to go ahead and stop it. We should stop it. We won't ban dueling, though, because sometimes these dueling events can be beneficial to us. Yeah, both of them losing popularity is not a negative for us. All right, so we got a gold rush event this time in Arizona. And we are going to get, well, you know, actually, we're going to do the migration attraction because we're doing so well on money. Oh, I said that. Now that we're building nothing but government stuff, we're not doing it as well. But that's okay. Once we finish with all this government construction, we should be in a better situation. Really got to focus on those government administration buildings, though, considering how low our bureaucracy currently is, and we've got a lot of things we want to use that for. So I haven't shown this yet. You know, there's not much here in the journal entries, but in the decisions. So two things. First of all, we can now enact a survey of the Panama Isthmus. And so that's over here, and that's the first step for building a canal there. But the problem here is it costs 1,000 bureaucracy, guys. Now, only for 1 year, but that's significant. So our tax income would be horrible for that 1 year. So I think we should wait until we get the current bureaucracy issues solved before we take that. And then another one, negotiate the Alaskan Purchase. So in order to do that, first of all, our relations with Russia need to be much more improved. We're at -22 with them right now, so we got to get that up. But also, Russia needs to be taking loans, or be in default. So they need to be having economic issues and need the money, essentially, so we can offer to buy Alaska. But yeah, first step is to improving the relations there. We got the event The Dream. A story has been making the rounds about a miner who struck it rich and became the wealthiest man in his town. People in Arizona are beginning to live beyond their means, convinced they'll all become rich soon enough. So we can increase the standard of living there by 2 or just by 1, and we'll get more radicals. So yeah, we'll just do this one. So we can now see the other ones here. Like I wanted to get the steel mills being constructed. So let's go and tick that up a bit. Get working on that, and it'll help us out with the money situation as well. So we're not only working on those government administration buildings. Yeah, many of these issues should now be getting resolved. Yeah, glass and steel, working on that. You know, that's pretty expensive. We don't have convoys. Okay, so we're going to need to fix that issue as well. Austria has declared us a rival. Well, that's interesting. I don't know what interest they have in making us a rival, but okay. So let's go ahead and get the ports. We need more ports, guys. So as far as where we're going to build these, does California have a port yet? They do. I'm trying to get the whole coastline covered in ports. It makes sense that every coastal territory would have a port, I feel. So we're going to go ahead and continue with that effort. Just make sure every location has a port, just because it makes sense, I feel. And so we're going to do a lot of these, because we're probably going to start trading pretty heavily. Now again, we're going to want to work these in slowly with other stuff, so we're not just building straight ports the entire time. So let's go and take a look at the economy and see what adjustments we need to make. So with all those rails being built, engines are now too expensive, so not surprising there. I did want to take a look and see if there's anything we can adjust here. Probably not. You know, we can get where we need less people working there. But yeah, that's it. So let's go and expand this. It's pretty expensive right now, so I think we're going to expand it by 3. And we know we're going to continue to need engines as we build out our rails, because there's a lot of states that still don't have rails. So we're going to want to work on that. Still working with the steel here. Iron's getting more expensive, so we're going to want to I'll probably get some more iron mines, I think. And then paper as well. So iron and paper, those are the next 2 things that we'll work on here. So as far as the iron mines go, let's just take a look. Pennsylvania can still make money doing that, so let's build that up. They still got a lot of peasants there. New York, look at me peasants they got. Jesus, they're getting so much migration there, guys. So probably would behoove us to get it there as well. And then the other thing we needed was paper. Some paper mills here. So we can take a look where we might want to build this. We could also build it in California. I don't have a ton of peasants yet, though. But the problem here, of course, as we already talked about, is that they don't have any other jobs for the most part. So let's get 1 in California. This is the way to try and improve the economy a bit. All right, we're only gonna build the 1 for now, guys. I did want to work these in, though. So again, we're not working on just ports here. In fact, this needs to be moved up. I probably should just put this at the top, actually. Yeah, this needs to be worked up here. Probably above a lot of this, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna put it like right there. Actually above the glassworks too. And then the rest of these will kind of go somewhere around the ports. This will also get these states here more infrastructure as well. So that'll help them out. So we got alright, I was gonna say we got more migration coming here, though this is actually to Normandy. So some of these are, not going to our states, but the reason why we get the notification for it is because we have people of that culture, and so all people are affected of that culture. So they'll all be, in this case, flocking to Normandy, France, over there up in the north. So we got women's suffrage passed. So that's going to be a 15% workforce ratio and a 33% dependent enfranchisement. So basically the effects of this, we have more people voting, and the workforce ratio is not going to result in more people out there that can work, which we don't actually have a shortage of workers right now. And the penalty we're going to get is the birth rate. So overall, not actually all that beneficial for us at this moment. But we did get the opinion increases here. Southern planters, of course, are pissed with us. We got that passed very quick. So that was nice. So not really anything for us to work on right now. Now we could go ahead and get the protected speech. Technology spread would be higher. Lose that authority and those other bonuses there. So could do that, but that would piss off a lot of people. So not going to do that right now. A lot of these other ones we simply can't do unless we have the trade unions in power. One thing that I'd really like to do if we can get the trade unions in there, because I think we're going to have to put them into our government in order to get some of these laws passed, is I'd like to go to proportional taxation, because we're going to get a lot higher taxes here than what we're currently getting. 38.1 thousand. No other tax law is going to get us that much. It's the best tax law for us right now. So we could go over that, and then we would actually probably go to low excuse me, already at low, but the very low taxation, because we'll be doing so well at that point. So we probably won't actually be taxing our people more. We'll probably be taxing them a bit less overall, just different types of taxes. So you can see there will no longer be a land tax. Land tax is harshest on the peasants. The aristocrats also pay it, but it's harshest on the peasants. So there won't be a land tax anymore. There's also no per capita tax. The income tax rate is higher. The consumption tax rate is the same, but you're getting a dividends tax rate. So dividends, for every building. So we just took a look. Let me see if we can find a profitable building here. So with the logging camps, once they get their reserves fully built up, because if they have a weekly balance that's in a positive, then they build up the cash reserves. Once the cash reserves are completely built up, then the rest is paid out to pops with ownership shares as dividends. So it goes to the owners of this building. And we can tax those dividends, those profits that the owners are getting. Right now, we're not currently taxing those. So those would be a nice source of income as well. So I'd like to change that up. However, as I was saying, we can't do that unless we get the trade unions in power. So there's not really a whole lot to do. I guess we could go with the health insurance. We've only had private health insurance available here for a while because that's all the industrialists will support. Again, you'd have to wait for trade unions in order to get the public health insurance passed. It looks like the evangelicals would also support it. They're marginalized though because they have that less than 5%. So yeah, you don't really want to put them into the government. So yeah, I feel like private health insurance might be the only option here if we want to get it soon. But I don't want to work on it yet because obviously the bureaucracy is currently an issue, and we got so much stuff we could be getting in here. So we have other options and other things to spend our bureaucracy on. So we're not going to get that yet. Now, I do think we're going to have to get more government administration buildings, clearly, because, this is not going to be high enough, even with all these constructed. I mean, that's it. We've already built them all out, and that's what we got from it. It's still going up as we get employment filled. But yeah, it's not going to be enough, guys. We're going to need to get more government administration buildings in order to do everything that we need to do with that. We did get the improved fertilizers. All right, so that's helpful. So you're going to take a look at that, like chemical plants, and then you also be changing up. You can change up your farms. Yeah, let's go and take a look at that real quick. So let's find the chemical plants. I wish this was like sorted alphabetically or something. Just kind of seems random the way they sort it. So this will require a ton of iron. Obviously, iron is really expensive. We're trying to work on that now. So probably don't want to do that now. And fertilizer is really, really cheap. But of course, if we did change it up, then we can also make fertilizer more expensive by changing these all over to fertilizers. And it'll produce a lot more grain, which grain could be increased. In fact, we could do this now. At least in the wheat farms, which we don't have a ton of. The rice farms, I don't think we have a ton of those either, so we could probably adjust there too. But we do not want to do it in our maize farms. Not yet, anyways. So yeah, we'll switch those two up. That'll make fertilizer more competitive. Because I think some of these factories we have here, we're not doing well. The chemical plants, yeah. they could be doing much better. But yeah, fertilizers now at a decent price, so they should be making a little bit more money at this point. So that should be very beneficial. Yeah, you can see that they're doing much better now. Might have made the paper too cheap. There's at least some buildings that are having issues there. Munition plants having problems too. We should probably trade that away. We need to look and see. Oh, nice. What I was saying, we need to look and see if anything's too cheap. I've only been looking at the expensive stuff, so we could be like trading stuff away. Once we get the convoys built out, which is something we've been working on as well. But this is nice. We got the synthetic plants. That means we can produce dye from fertilizers and sulfur, something we already have. We got plenty of. So it makes sense to go ahead and get some of those built. And so then there's a question: where do we want to build our new factories, our synthetic plants? Where do we want to give that profit to, and those wages? So it makes sense to do in New York, simply because they have such a high population here. California is growing, but not there yet. Yeah, I feel like it makes the most sense to do it in New York because they just have all these peasants sitting around. Connecticut's got a ton of peasants too. I mean, there's just so many people everywhere. Well, yeah, we're gonna do it in New York. Makes the most sense, and then we can trade for less dyes. We could do it in a couple locations actually, and I think we will. I think this is gonna be the new California market. In fact, give them a bit of profit here. So we're gonna build 4 of these out for now, and that'll make dyes significantly cheaper. We can stop trading for it. All right, so we're working on that. We got an event about inefficient agriculture. This could follow their advice. Get more migration attraction to Missouri, but yeah, I don't think that's really necessary. And again, they're still quite happy with us. Plus 20, so very, very loyal. They love us. We do need to pick a tech. And it makes sense to now go after art silk. So this will allow us to produce silk. This has been a very limiting factor on our textile industry. So yeah, let's go and get that next. This is a level 4, so it's going to take 4 years to get. So it's good we're getting it now because it does take a while. But those are 2 of the really important ones if you want to be able to really be self-sufficient in every way. So yeah, we still have the convoy issues there. Expensive goods. These are all things we're still working on here, guys. Trying to get done. But yeah, a lot of changes in our market. Now I did want to take a look and see if there's anything really cheap, which clearly there is. Central Americans are coming to Florida. That makes sense. All right, so we need to trade away the ammunition, clearly, because yeah, that is way too cheap, and they can't make a profit off of it. So looking at profitability, who do we want to trade to? I mean, nobody's going to get a lot of this. Let me just see how much we're producing more. Yeah, quite a bit, guys. We'd have to do a bunch of export routes. And of course, well, we do have convoys now. Okay, let's just do a bunch of these, I think. Probably anybody who can do 10. Like 6 is not enough. I mean, I guess you could do them just because you need to get rid of more ammunition. That'll help the cost a little bit, but probably not as much as we'd like. So I guess we're gonna have to trade with them too. But yeah, you're going 5. You're not gonna make a huge difference there. I mean, it's still gonna be far too cheap because nobody needs large amounts of it. Clearly, here the average can't support that. That'll help though. It's not quite as bad as it was, guys. Yeah, not too bad. I'll probably want to start trading wood again once we're able to start building that out. Again, we're already working on other stuff at the moment. Looks like glass is still too expensive. It's getting better though. Yeah, probably filling up the workers there on those buildings we already constructed. Iron, I think we're still slated to get that worked on there. And of course, dyes. That's something we're gonna be able to improve here very soon. So let's actually, we're probably just gonna leave this as is. Yeah, we're just gonna leave this as is because you need the iron here. So we're just gonna let them get their stuff built. In fact, we have so much money. It makes sense to go ahead and get another construction sector, guys. So let's go ahead and do that. So we will do maybe in California again. Let me see what our current levels are. I guess Pennsylvania's only at 2. New York's at 5. Massachusetts 1. So I think we're gonna do Florida. We're really gonna start building out these because yeah, we can afford it now. We're doing absolutely fantastic when it comes to money. So let's really start building these out. I'm gonna build a bunch of these guys. I guess you do one in Texas and one more in California. And this is gonna be pretty expensive. I don't know if we'll be able to afford it. Be able to construct this much. We'll see. We'll see, guys. We can make adjustments. So this is the ability to get a university. We've seen this before. And this will be in Tennessee. Yeah, absolutely. I'll let them build that. It's free. But yeah, we're doing great when it comes to money. And we can even get more gold mines eventually. So that's going to be more money. So yeah, we're doing fantastic when it comes to profit at the moment. But yeah, I don't know if I did too much in the construction. So we'll just kind of like peek at it as we build it. We won't want to build all these straight like this. We'll want to work in other stuff. Let's first get some of this other stuff that we're currently building done. You know what we could do? We could tick up these slowly. That's what we should do. Get the first 2 and then see how things look on our finances and see if we want to get any more. And then we can tick those up. So let me see what else we need here. So iron is still too expensive. We haven't got those built yet. Okay, so that makes sense. Glass is still too expensive, so we will have to get that. And the clothing has gone up as well. So we're still working on the paper there. Okay. So let's do more glass. More glass works. Probably get a couple of these here. Yeah, we can do one more in Pennsylvania. And one in Washington here. And then maybe one more in Florida. So now that we have a lot more construction and a lot more money, we're building a lot more at a time than we were before. Things really open up here in the later game as you just start swimming in money, and I've experienced that in all my campaigns so far. I mean, this is my 4th one now, and in all of them I'm just like swimming in money. Am I around this period? 1860s, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later, depending on the country, but yeah, I'm always doing pretty well at this point. So socialism's been unlocked. So this is overall a negative for us because it's a +1 minimum expected standard of living from literacy. A very literate population. I mean, not very, but you know, 62.6% here are going to be affected by this. So yeah, it's obviously a negative there. But you do get the 2+ max workplace safety office, but I don't think we even have level 2 on that, if I'm not mistaken. You know, we haven't started getting these at all yet. We're still in just the serfdom abolished. And this is another one where you need the trade unions. A lot of stuff you just can't get done without the trade unions and support. So, you know, next election, I mean, we could reform our government now, but we'll just wait till the next election. I think we're going to have to work them in there. I think that's going to be necessary, guys. So let's just tick one of these down to the bottom. Start getting those glass works worked on there. We'll let the other one construct, I suppose, because it seems like we're doing pretty good on money. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do more textiles. Yeah, let's go ahead and get. We're just going to do one because we're going to actually be making some big changes in textiles once we get that tech. I guess we could do 2. And still so many peasants here. We're going to do it in New York. Just trying to get some jobs for all those people. I mean, New York has a stupid number of peasants. So many people are migrating there. I mean, if we just looked at this here, attraction is only medium, but pop growth is extremely high. I mean, just compare that to Pennsylvania. I mean, it's double. New party, free trade party. So we got the election upcoming here. And it looks like the industrialists have decided to break off again and form their own party. So now you got 2 separate parties here. The Democrats now only have 2 of the interest groups, Southern planters and the bourgeoisie. So trade unions and armed forces are separate. Okay, I actually wanted to integrate the armed forces in as well. I want to say that there's something that they are willing to support. Maybe not anymore. You know what? They're willing to endorse proportional taxation. Okay, so there was something. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was the taxation that they're willing to support. That's because they're loyalist. So you could use them as well. But if you already got to bring the trade unions in, then you don't really need to bring them in. That'll probably just reduce your legitimacy because you have too many interest groups involved. So this is the way the election is currently looking. Whig Party's going to get 60% of the vote. They have so much momentum right now. Wow. So yeah, they're going to easily win that election more than likely. Even with the industrialists leaving, which is a rising power right now. Alright, so we've seen this event before. Gets us a ton of loyalists. And we're going to do this one, even though it's going to increase the standard of living, the expected standard of living pretty high for the Strata. Let's get more loyalists here, guys. And now we almost have more loyalists than we do radicals. We've gotten a lot of radicals over the years. And, you know, over here in this area is probably responsible, this new territory that we got. It's probably responsible for a lot of those unhappy people. The whistle stop tour. So Abraham Lincoln is in the game now. So he is leading the intelligentsia. So he is currently our president. I guess I missed that when we won the last election because he was probably the president then. I don't think I've seen anybody die. But yeah, these are his traits. So he's getting the popularity here. This doesn't really impact us as a ruler. The ruler bonuses, we're getting a 20% improved relation speed, negative 20% political movement radicalism. That's also not impacting, you know, us as a country, and this is giving us more authority. And he's absolutely loved. But yeah, he's going to travel across Tennessee by train to campaign for the Whig Party. So I guess we'll do this one here. We don't really need to get the momentum, but we'd like to get a more railway building throughput, so we'll go ahead and do that. We don't need to really have the Whigs have more momentum because they already have a lot. They're easily going to win this election here. And the gold has been depleted in Arizona. So let's go ahead and get gold mines there now. Oh, I didn't realize we get more there. My bad, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe we can get a lot more there. So we'll build all those out in Colorado and Arizona. That's going to be even more money for us. In fact, we should probably... I guess we'll let them finish this. And then we'll do all those gold mines. So that's going to be really profitable for us, all those gold mines. And let me just take a look at something. What their production methods are in the gold mines. Yeah, we already did the dynamite. I thought so. I just wanted to double check here. They already got the rail transportation there as well. Are they still having issues here with peasants? Not a lack of workers? No. No longer. Probably because they have gotten a lot of migration here. And in fact, now it's high. So yeah, no issues here with peasants. Look at the Yankee population. 17.6%. All these northerners coming over here. Profit from that booming economy there. Liberty without anarchy. So the anarchist political group, anarchist society's rise to prominence has been invoked in the Whig Party's election campaign, casting themselves as the more reasonable alternative. So you can say true liberty takes time, increase the momentum further of the Whig Party, or a corrupt system cannot be reformed, it must be overthrown, then increase the anarchist society. Remember, that is just the rural folk. So I guess we're going to increase Whig Party's momentum more. We don't really want the rural folk getting more powerful here. But yeah, they're just anarchists simply because of their leader right now. And that's basically it. We got the ironclads. All right, excellent. So this will allow us to get those steamships that we needed for those shipyards. And we needed that so we could get the steam trawlers for the fishing wharfs and I guess the whaling stations as well. So yeah, a lot of options here. Ironclad for the naval base. So a lot of stuff that we just got from this one tech here. But the key here is you got to get the steamers first. So I want to get those, but the question is, can we do it with the current trade goods situation? I'm not sure how prices are looking at the moment. So let's just take a peek here. I mean, because we haven't even gone to the reinforced wooden ships everywhere, apparently. So yeah, if we wanted to move over to this, that means we wouldn't be getting the clippers anymore. We get in the steamers, so you know the clippers get very expensive, but that's only until we switch everybody over. So the real question is, can we afford it when it comes to everything else? Obviously, steel is already too expensive. Engines would get really expensive. Yeah. Okay, so basically, we can't change over just yet. First, we're going to need to improve the engines and steel situation. So we'll want to continue working on that. We currently are out of the investment pool. Yeah, we completely ran out of the investment pool, so we're losing money right now. So I wasn't sure how this would end up working out, but we got all these gold mines producing, so after those are produced, I think we're going to do really good on money. So I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I really feel like we're going to be fine. Being able to build with what we have here. Those gold mines are being incredibly profitable. Look at the minting, guys. 97,000 for the minting. And then after the election, we can also attempt to change up our laws. So that's what we'll be doing. It looks like the southern planters are no longer pissed off at us. Okay, so that'll actually help our economy a lot. They're affecting it because they were so irritated. And Whig Party got 2/3 of the vote. Jeez. What's interesting here is the Anarchist Society was the second most voted. That's one interest group in that party. So Abraham Lincoln is still currently our president here in the 1860s as well. Interesting. Like, again, I had him much earlier in my other campaign. He was a young man when he was my president. So yeah, more accurate, closer time period to history. So we need to reform our government. Because we're just limited on the laws we can do. Kicking the Whig Party out might not be wise. The Free Trade Party also gives us some benefits here, but I think we're probably going to get rid of them. If you kick out the Whigs and kept, you can see you're only losing 4% there. If you kick out the Whigs, you're losing a much higher amount. Free Trade Party did not do well in the elections. And so we'd want to put the trade unions in there. But they are actually going to take the legitimacy down some, but that's fine. And if you put in the armed forces, it would take it down even more. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, guys. Trade unions and the intelligentsia. That'll be our government. Because yeah, if you put anybody else in, it's just going to go down. So I think it's best doing it this way. So very left-wing government right now, which we need in order to pass these laws that we're trying to do. So we're going to have access to a lot of different options now. As you can see here, because so many things were requiring the trade unions. And so now we're going to be able to get a bunch of stuff passed. We're going to want to do just like a flurry of things. But one thing to consider is also that our bureaucracy still isn't where we need it to be. So some of these things that will actually result in us losing bureaucracy won't be able to do just yet. But we can start with the taxation. Go over to proportional taxation. So trade unions are the ones that support that. Industrialists are going to be irritated. Southern planters are going to be further irritated. It's only 11% chance, so it might be difficult to get it passed. But I think that's the priority here because of how much money we can earn from that. That'd be super helpful. That combined with the gold mines, I really think we might be able to reduce taxes here, and that would help our people out. So that's what we're going to be working on first. But there's a ton of laws we can get done if we can just get this bureaucracy situation solved. Because yeah, we still haven't added these as states yet either. So that's another thing to consider. So we got to do that. There's Panama. And then, of course, there's the institutions. So we need more bureaucracy. So after we get these gold mines, I mean, there's just so much stuff to work on because we got all these other things and the production methods we just looked at, and then trying to get more government administration buildings. We got a ton of stuff to build right now, guys. So we'll continue working on that next episode. As far as how we're doing, I always think that's F1 for some reason. On infamy, we're at 42.6, so still quite infamous, guys. So we're going to continue burning that down, remaining at peace. But hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.